Welcome back to Turpy Eyes, back with another weekly video for the channel. Today we're starting out in the VivoSun grow tent room where we're going to be doing our breeding projects for Blem genetics in this space. We have 4 grow lights in here, 3 separate grow chambers in here, which will be 3 different breeding projects, which will be making some seeds from reversed female plants. So here's a quick overview of the 4x8 tent. We got the 4x8 VivoSun grow tent. This is the Pro model. As you can see, it has the high CFM kit around here, which gives us the extra poles in the center of the tent, not allowing the walls to suck in once our exhaust fan and filter turn on to exchange the air inside the grow tent. We can see that we have multiple different plants in here, different size bags also. The black ones are the plants that will be getting pollinated, and the white ones are the ones that will be reversed to a male plant to produce some pollen. In here we have our automated irrigation system set up with our drip emitters. The drip emitters are from Netafim and are ½ gallon per hour. Over here in the corner, we have our electronic solenoid there. It's not connected yet, but we will be connecting the pulse and all of our pulse sensors. This is the Pulse 1. We have the Pulse Pro, one on each of the tents. And then we'll be connecting the pulse system up to the open sprinkler to fully automate our irrigation in here. Our irrigation will be done through these 2 reservoirs here. Switch each day, so one day the nutrients will be in here, the next day will be in there, vice versa. Keeps going as we fill those tanks with our RO system, which is right here, which also feeds our humidifier up here. We have changed one thing since the last video. We've connected a humidity controller to our humidifier here, which is just a simple Inkbird controller. I don't recommend using these because they're not the most reliable and the sensors aren't that high quality, but for what we're doing here, this is good to get us going for now, as the dial sensor here is very inaccurate. Like just one notch here is probably 10 to 15% difference for the range that I want. So we had to stop using that and have something a little bit more reliable, which was this next step up, which is not too expensive. We did get our DAB irrigation pump in the mail, I think a day or 2 ago, which will be installed up here on the wall. Just need to find some time to do that. So on this side of the room, we have dual 4x4 grow tents, exactly the same. We're using the same light in all spaces, which is the VivoSun 645 watt LED grow light. We have adjustable knob here, but they are controlled by the VivoSun Grow Hub up here. We have one of these for each of the grow tents. This second one here was for our under canopy lighting, which we have taken out just because I've run out of power in this space. Each of these grow tents have a clip fan for above the canopy and a clip fan for below the canopy when the plants get a little higher. You can see each tent does have white bags and black bags. We will be organizing the plants in this video as they are not organized into the specific spaces. So let me get you guys set up on the time lapse here. We'll get all the plants laid out on the floor in separate lines so we know which plants we have of which strain and how many we have, so we can organize them into each of the grow spaces so we know what projects we have going on. But for now, we are going to be doing one grow tent in peanut butter pie. This one will be Tropicana cherry gas, and the one over here will be rainbow fruits. Okay, so I've got them all organized out on the floor. We got the rainbow fruits ready to go for this project. We got the peanut butter pie over here and the Tropicana cherry gas. Super healthy, strong strain and variety over here. Excited on these 2 projects. And the rainbow fruits we have in the 6 light room downstairs, which is doing phenomenal now. very good bud development and super frosty. So let's go over the strains that we have over here. Large selection, I think there's 15 strains here. Some we only have a single plant of, and then others we have like 6 or maybe 7 different plants. So we're gonna choose the healthiest plants and the similar sizing of plants across all projects. That way it's easy to deal with for watering and going forward. So we got Frozen Joker here, Banana Hammock, believe this is Sub-Zero. Down here we've got Purple Pineapple, Blackberry Oreo Big Stuff, Peanut Butter Pie, we've got lots of those, Rainbow Fruits. Over here, this one is Strawberry Banana Cream. Behind that, we already did that one. Tropicana Cherry Gas over here, Hawaiian Rain, Permanent Marker back there. I believe this is Pink Runts. Then we got Rainbow Cakes. This one is White Runts. And then Granny Mac. So quite the variety over here. Let me organize them into each of the grow tents, and then I'll give you guys an update on what we chose for each of the reversals to see what the crosses will be coming in the future. Okay, all the ones that we're keeping are off the floor and into the grow tents. We do have some leftover of Pink Runts. I didn't feel comfortable with this strain being too strong in genetics, so we left most of those out. We got Strawberry Banana Cream, one left there. Hawaiian Rain, Permanent Marker, Tropicana Cherry Gas, Peanut Butter Pie, Sub-Zero, and Rainbow Fruits. I felt like I didn't need to add very many Rainbow Fruits to the projects here or in general, because I do have a rooftop grow of 55 plants going outdoor organic growing right now. So let's go over the 4x8 tent over here. Reminder, this is Rainbow Fruits crossed to all the other strains in here. We got 1 Sub-Zero, 1 Permanent Marker, 1 Pink Runts, and then across the back are pears. We got Blackberry Oreo Big Stuff, Peanut Butter Pie, Strawberry Banana Cream, 2 of those. And then on this side, I kept the best flowers and genetics to do multiple plants. So we have Tropicana Cherry Gas, entire line, 3 of those. Hawaiian Rain, 3 of those. And White Runts, 3 of those. Pretty excited about this side of the tent, just because of the amount of seeds we will have of each of the strains. So I think I will be doing freebies of this one when somebody gets a pack of any of the strains in here. So we have on this side Peanut Butter Pie crossed by 9 strains, Tropicana Cherry Gas, Hawaiian Rain, Rainbow Cakes, Strawberry Banana Cream, Purple Pineapple, Banana Hammock, Pink Runts, White Runts, and Granny Mac. Good selection here. Definitely a few different strains in this one compared to over here, so good variety. This is an Indica dominant hybrid over here being crossed, and then we also have an Indica dominant hybrid over here. Which I'm most excited about is over here, the sativa tent or project, I want to call it, because in Thailand the most demand is sativa strains. So we got Tropicana Cherry Gas crossed by 9 different strains. We got Granny Mac, Frozen Joker, Rainbow Cakes, Strawberry Banana Cream, Permanent Marker, let me see which this one was, White Runts, Sub-Zero, Blackberry Oreo Big Stuff, and Purple Pineapple. Good variety in here. About 4 or 5 really exciting ones in here, but I'm most excited to see what this Tropicana Cherry Gas does to all the strains in this entire room. Okay, so it's another day. We're gonna get in here and finalize, or at least add one more piece of equipment to the automated irrigation system, and then we can move on to the open sprinkler to actually control the valves. And we'll integrate that open sprinkler system into the Pulse dashboard, allowing us to control the entire irrigation setup through the Pulse dashboard, which is amazing to have incorporated. And we can utilize that compared to our environmental data that is collected through our Pulse One, the Pulse Pro, or the THV sensors and water content sensors in our growing medium. So here's what we're gonna do right now. I have a couple hours before I have to head over to the commercial facility and water the plants over there. So we have our Easy Box Mini pump here. This is a constant pressure water pump, and we have the wall mount that goes with it. this is pretty important to buy separately with your easy pump. That way you can mount it on the wall without having any issues. Very strong, easy to remove and put back on. Just need to have a concrete bit here, the same size as your concrete plug right here, and then we use the screws to put them into here. It does come with two different size feet here. These are for the bottom of the unit if you want to set this unit on the floor, and then you have your in and out located on the front of the unit. What we're going to be doing is going to be utilizing these bigger feet mounts which go behind the unit back here, allowing us to mount this on the wall, and then our out and in water outlets are in the bottom of the tank, allowing us to mount this right above our irrigation tanks here. We'll mount it right over here somewhere. Our two inlets will go straight down into the tank, and our outlet will come across here to this area right around here and then go down, and we have our irrigation pipe here waiting to connect to that. And you've seen in a previous video, we've already connected our irrigation valves here, which are electronic, which will connect to the open sprinkler, and that just goes all the way around the room, teeing off to each grow tent with its own valve, so we can water each of these spaces separately. Okay, so that was pretty simple enough. Got it mounted firmly on the wall. That's not going anywhere. One thing I'm going to change is our RO line coming into the room. I'm gonna put this T so it points up. The line will go up to this white above the humidifier, and then back down, and then down to our T to go into here. Currently, the way it's set up is the RO water comes in here, and obviously if one of these two valves are open to fill these tanks, this takes priority over the humidifier. I want the RO water to go to the humidifier first, and then if that's full, then it gets channeled back into these tanks. Currently, the way it's set up is if the room needs humidifying, then it runs out of what's in there, and then this is being filled up. I want it the opposite way, where this will stay constantly full, and then anytime that that valve in there shuts off, it will push the water into our tanks, which will still keep our tanks filled throughout an entire day, and we'll still be able to keep our humidity in the room proper. That's one thing that was lacking in here before, was anytime I needed water, there was no humidification in the room. Okay, so quick little update as I'm on top of the flower room number 2 working on the HVAC system. We had a little fan failure up here on our electric heater here. So let's take a quick look. So here's the exhaust fan right here. When the door is closed, it pulls in cool air from the warehouse through this chamber with all of our control boxes, relays, and breakers in here that converts the 3-phase power down to 220 single phase for these components to work, along with control the temperature or when the power level should go on and at what percentage. Our electric heater is located down here inside the air ducting, and then obviously that's outside where our AC system is. So we got this fan right here that's failed, so inside the box has been overheating, not allowing them to do their work properly. So we're gonna get in here, take this fan out. I really don't like how manufacturers use rivets on some components because it makes it difficult to replace these wear items like this. But we got our drill and drill bits here to drill out these rivets, and then I'll give you an update on this fan. We do have a new one downstairs which we will be replacing. Also, another thing I didn't like about this is how they just twisted the wires together and used electrical tape. On a component that might wear out or need to be replaced in the future, it's always a good idea to use proper connectors so you can just unclip it and re-click a new one in there for ease of maintenance. And obviously on a grow room, you want to be able to replace these parts as quickly as possible to keep our plants safe. Okay, so we got the fan taken out. All we did was unscrew those rivet heads there. So we were able to unsecure this fan from the location. We'll save the grate here. That way we can reinstall it with the new fan. No one's finger can go in there while the fan is on and get damaged. We can see right here the previous person's work of attaching the fan. Just
twisted the end together. This is where I obviously cut off the old fan, and we'll do that for both locations, one there and one over here. And then it'll be pretty simple reinstalling this. I'm not gonna film reinstalling it, but you guys get the idea. Then we can close the door again and it'll work all properly. Right now I'm just leaving the door open, that way it has adequate air ventilation so it doesn't overheat, because we did have some issues with the relays not switching to our heater power 2, allowing the room to overcool during that process. So having the door open over the last couple days while the new fan arrived has solved that issue, just as a band-aid to keep our room running at optimal environmental temperatures and humidity.
Okay, so we're up here in the grow tent room, just finishing up work for the night. So thought I would give you guys a quick update of what's going on in here. We are about to close up the grow tents so we can start the first day of flower when the lights switch over to 12 hours on and 12 hours off. We have sprayed a couple of plants with STS spray. That's what we're going to be using for this round of reversals to make some pollen to pollinate the female plants that remain in the grow tent.
So here's the 4x8 tent. Just finished putting in the 2 plants that we sprayed off, and then we leave them out of the tent until they fully dry off with after the spraying, and then we are safe to put them back in the grow tent. Normally you want to reverse your plants about 2 weeks before the other ones, but currently I don't have an extra space to flip those ones into flower, and the time frame of the other plants are getting quite big, so I can't wait 2 more weeks for these plants, or they'll be far too big for the grow tent. So we're just gonna flip them all on the same flowering schedule. I've done that in the past. It's not ideal, but it does work, so that's what we're gonna do. Over here in the dual 4x4s, both of them are ready. Healthy plants in here, you can see we got 9 female plants and then the 1 reversal. This one is Trop Cherry Gas. So excited to see the results from this tent. And then over here we have Peanut Butter Pie crossed by 9 other strains. Super healthy plants in here. Nice to see that plants are surviving in here. We got our CO2 set up right here. I know you guys are gonna say, put a chain around that so it doesn't fall over. I'm the only one in here, and I feel very comfortable with that being there because I don't work around this specific area, and when I am very careful. We got our humidity controllers set up for 73% relative humidity right now. That's for the lung room, which is the room that the grow tents are in, which controls the electric heater up here, and we got 73% over there. Controls the heater there for nighttime. Both of these come on at night. Only one is on during the day when the lights are on. We got another humidity controller over here connected to our humidifier. This one's set at 70%, so a little bit different settings from the dehumidifying over here. Okay, just here on the rooftop, want to give you guys a update on everything that's going on up here in the middle of the day, so you can see how the plants are doing with the full sun. Pretty happy around here, nice and green. We are seeing some of the edges of the leaves a little burnt there. Might be from the guy green or the worm castings breaking down and giving a little bit too much nutrients, but all we're doing is giving the plants water straight from the building that's been filtered. Majority of the plants are doing really good. There's a couple smaller ones that didn't have the Gaia Green nutrients to start off, which they got about 2 or 3 weeks later. So they are a little bit smaller, and all during that time only fed off of the worm castings that were in the cocoa before. But overall, doing good. We'll get some trellis netting on here pretty soon. I think in 1 more week we'll flip to flower, or should I say just turn off the supplemental lighting, which will turn the plants into 12 hours of sunlight, or 13 hours, and then the remaining period in dark. We do have a couple small plants here, but overall, generally, most of the plants are the same size. Nothing too crazy on size difference, other than the one back there that we thought about killing off, but it ended up surviving. Obviously not the healthiest, but living plant is better than an empty pot like over here. So we do have a couple pots that are empty. There's one right there, one here and 2 over there on those plants over there. But overall, plants are looking good. I will get in here and remove all this vegetation that's inside the growing medium that I don't want to be growing or letting take up the nutrients. But here's a good look at everything. I think we'll have a successful grow up here now that we've worked all the kinks out in this building, the water source, the cocoa, growing medium and whatnot. Nice and green. It's hard to show in full sunlight the color of the plants, but they translate onto the camera a little bit differently than you see in the phone. No purpling on the stems, nice and healthy and green. Excited to see where this grow turns out, and then the results we get from extracting it into ice water hash, and then rosin also a portion of it will be. All right guys, here we are in flower room 2 on day 32 or 33. I'll have to check the dashboard, but here we are. Let's call it day 33. Super roof on this side of the room, and then we got Slurricane right here, first 3 tables, and then down there on the far end is Alien OG. Really happy with the super booth. Great spacing between the tops of the lights and the top of the canopy. Great dense canopy all the way from our bottom trellis netting up to the top, and then even across the room a little bit above the trellis netting. So great support with the 3 layers of trellis netting this round. The team that did the de-leafing, amazing job. Great communication this round of these plants compared to last round we had in this building. As every round we do here in Thailand, it's getting easier to communicate and less challenges as we know how to really be super detailed and oriented and keep our eyes over their shoulders when completing any type of work here now. But as you can see, this is a full canopy wall to wall under the entire room of lights. Slurricane I'm not the happiest with. It is quite a bit taller than the super booth, as you can tell. The bud sizing is a little bit smaller than the super booth also. But another thing you'll notice is we took out the first row of plants across the Slurricane table here. Not too sure what happened, but we were noticing some burning and the pistil hairs were going brown, so I wasn't happy with that. The rest of the table was completely fine, so I'm not too sure what was going on here. There was a situation with somebody coming in the room and using their phone light during the actual daytime outside the building when the lights are off in here, and they didn't realize how much light stress can affect a plant. So that's what I believe happened to these first 3 of Slurricane, as it might be a little bit weak of a strain. So just to be safe, I took out those plants and really communicated to that person how important it is not to be in these rooms while the lights are off, and especially not coming in here with any type of light shining them on the plants every single day. So that was one hurdle that gave me a little bit of scare on losing this room, but I think we're completely fine with everything now. So let me take a little walk down here so you can see the Alien OG. Pretty happy with the bud development on these ones. A little bit smaller than the super booth, but definitely bigger than the Slurricane over here. The Pinnacle system, the environment has been working amazing. We are controlling the irrigation cycles with the open sprinkler, which we will be incorporating into the Pulse dashboard in the future. It just don't have it incorporated just yet, or integrated I should say, but we are taking the data off of the growing medium with our Terros 12 sensors. We have 1 moisture content and EC sensor in every table. Let me walk down here and show you guys that. So it's located right there in this plant, and we have them spaced out. Here's another one way down there, and then here's this table next to us. So every table has a Terros 12 telling us what exactly is going on in the growing medium. I'll actually do a voiceover of the dashboard for the Pinnacle, so you can see quite a bit of the upgrades that I've done in here with Anthony's help, and different ideas that I had that I let him know that I wanted, and he incorporated those into the dashboard. And then he also has some great ideas which helped this room succeed over the time that we've been running it over the first round and the second round. Both of us combined with my design work on the HVAC system and his control system has been working out great. Our environment has been quite stable. One more upgrade that we have done in here recently, I have shown on my Instagram, but we added these mini split ACs. There's one right here and one over there. Both of those are a 3-ton AC system. We'll go back down here so you can see the other side. So we added an extra 12 tons of AC in here, and we're just currently using them on dehumidifying mode. One there and one over there. And that has really allowed us to control the humidity in this room. As last round, we couldn't get it below 65, even with the room only half filled, or half the number of plants that we currently have in here. So it's been really great that we can get it down to 58. It can go even lower than that. I just don't want to bring it down much lower than that at this stage of growth. So we will test that theory later on in flower when we need to bring it even farther down into the low 50s. So that's the quick update. Okay, just in here in the 6 light room, want to give you guys an update. We're about 3 or 4 days away from harvest, so some people like to see the bud shots at nighttime for some reason with the flash on. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go through all the strains and show you particularly the differences in all of them. Here is a permanent marker that's sitting outside the canopy, so good sizing, still dense, doesn't compact when I press on it. And then when we go down here and show you the under canopy lights, or the results from the under canopy lights are, here's a bud, great size still, dense, that's a finished bud that can go in the A bags. And then these smaller buds, these would be bud sites that you would typically take off even with under canopy lighting. I was just testing to see how much we can get away with keeping onto the plants. And remember, the permanent marker right here, these first 3 plants are the worst in the room. We had some serious issues, as you can tell from the purpling of the stem, but they did recover and still pulled through. Still happy with the amount of buds that are on these plants for the conditions that they were put through. Good results. And we'll move over to the star of the show, or the entire grow, I should say, the Devil's Cherries, my favorite strain in the room. Really good sizing, super frosty, nice purple color on it all. Just check out how the cola is stacked. All these tall ones in the frame right now are all Devil's Cherries from 3 plants. Super happy. And then when we work down here, just covered in trichomes. One bad thing about this room is I didn't have the automatic irrigation set up on time, so the pots are too small for a single watering per day, which is what I did the entire grow. But still got great results with the current conditions that we had. We'll go down here and check out the under canopy buds. You can see just how far this bud is from the under canopy lighting, and then also it's into the aisleway, so it gets no help from the under canopy lighting on this side. Still great size. Obviously it's going to be a bit smaller once it dries out, but this stuff would just be larf in the past grows without under canopy lighting. Now we'll at least get some popcorn bud, or sizable buds like this one right here. A little bit bigger, that would be obviously popcorn bud, but that is much better than having to rip it off earlier in the flowering stage, and then at least we get to increase our popcorn bud and then some of the top yields also. Move on to the next one. Here is Lemonberry Candy OG. This plant is directly under the AC system, so it's not getting the proper VPD the entire grow, as it's getting a lot more humid air compared to the rest of the plants in the room. The Lemonberry Candy, Orange Kush Cake, and Mandarin Cookies all are directly in front of the AC system, so they can be improved on the next round. I do have a block that directs the air up over the lights for next round, which we will get into. Here we're still looking at the Lemonberry Candy. Great size, great frostiness, good terpenes on that. And then my second favorite in the room is this Orange Kush Cake. Great color to it, good size, tons of trichome development. once we get this in a proper location or out of the way of the AC, we'll really see this one shine, I believe. We're gonna grow this one again. Orange Kush Cake, Lemon Berry, Candy OG, and Devil's Cherries will all continue growing in the future. As we go down here, here's Mandarin Cookies. I think this is the smallest strain in the grow. Still sizable, still good, just not a star like the other ones. We'll move over to the, this is Rainbow Fruits. Have over a light of this. Pretty happy with it, good sizing, good frostiness. If you remember at the beginning of this grow, we did have some issues with these plants being smaller, but they ended up catching up and ended up being a really good strain to the entire grow in here. Happy with the results. I don't know, let me know what you guys think in here. Obviously some of the yellowing on the leaves isn't ideal, but again, the automatic irrigation for next round will resolve that. They were drying out a bit too much in the middle of flower when they were really sucking up all the water, and the next day when I would come in here and water the plants, it would be too much of a dry back. So they did take up a bit too much nutrients, which burned the edges of the leaves quite a bit. Then over here, this is all white runs, this entire side of the room. Very good size, great strain, easy to grow. Can't wait to see the different yield numbers from all these plants. Obviously white runs is going to be big just because it's half the room, but excited to see the Rainbow Fruits, Orange Kush Cake, Lemon Berry, Candy OG, and Devil's Cherries. We got a full canopy in here. This is probably over the maximum size of canopy that you would want to go in this room, but we're still knocking it out, and then we'll see how the quality is after the drying and trimming phase is completed. But you can just see the entire canopy all the way from the top all the way to the bottom is filled out. Those under canopy lighting, if you're questioning it, they do work. These are the R8, so 80% red diodes in there and then 20% white diodes. There's different light spectrums on the market, but that's what I chose to use for this grow. I have tried the R6 ones before with good results, so this is my second time using under canopy lights. We've changed how we prune the bottoms a little bit compared to the first time we tried it, and then the next round we'll change it a little bit more so we can maximize the proper efficiency in here with the under canopy lighting. So quick update for you guys, we'll move on to the next location. Okay, quick little update for you guys on the rooftop. Multiple different sizes over here just because a few of these plants did not have the Gaia Green nutrients in here right at the beginning. I ran out as we were transplanting, so those ones got the Gaia Green a little bit later, probably about a week or two later, but everything else is looking really healthy out here. It's been 3.5 to 4 weeks since transplanting these small clones out here. Everything's looking really nice and healthy. Great size. I think we're on day 4 or 5 of flower, so things are stretching out, filling out the spaces nicely. Super happy about this. We're gonna get the trellis netting on here and the supplemental lighting taken off pretty soon. Just getting in here today to do a top dressing. We're gonna be using half a tablespoon of the all-purpose and half a tablespoon of the Power Bloom per gallon of pot. So each of these pots are 10 gallons in size. I'm gonna do a little bit less just to be on the safe side. We're gonna calculate it at 8 tablespoons. So 4 tablespoons of each of these will go into each of the pots. For anybody wondering, my rough calculations is about 192 tablespoons per 2 kilogram bucket here. I couldn't find that information online to do my calculations of how much I needed to purchase for this grow, so hopefully that information helps out somebody in the future. 192 tablespoons per 2 gallon container. So you can do your math on what it's going to cost you per run doing it with this style. When you're first transplanting, we do 70% all-purpose, 30% all Power Bloom, and then right here at transition we do 50% all-purpose, 50% Power Bloom, and then the last time that we're going to do it is halfway through the flower stage, we'll do 30% all purpose and 70% power bloom. That will get us through our entire grow with those 3 applications of the Gaia Green organic nutrients, along with the worm castings that we used right at transplant. We'll also add the worm castings halfway through flower. I think we should do it now, but I don't have access to it right now, so we're not gonna be putting the worm castings along with the top dressing right now. So I'll get that done right now and then update you guys after I'm done. Okay, so we finished up putting the Gaia Green nutrients in each of the pots. We've got both the power bloom and all purpose. You can see that by the lighter color nutrients in there on each of the plants. Super happy with getting this done and how healthy the plants are looking right now. So the next step, we'll go in here and just since this is a top dressing, all we're doing is moving around the top little bit of the soil like this. Nothing too crazy, maybe an inch down into the pot. Since I did water these plants yesterday, I'll just give them a slight watering just to moisten the top and really work the nutrients down. So that's pretty much done. I'll do that through all the plants now, just like this. Nice, simple, easy, nothing too crazy. And any of these grass pieces that ended up working in here, I will take out just because I don't want any of that growing. We're not trying to do any cover crop in here right now. Maybe in the future we'll get around to doing that, but that's how they all should look after being done. And then we'll just water in the top a little bit to work the nutrients a little bit farther down. I did have somebody help me doing the transplanting, and they were the ones that estimated the 192 tablespoons after giving each of the plants about a heaping load of this, which is around 3.5 tablespoons with the heap on the top. This is also a 1/4 cup. So a 1/4 cup is 3 tablespoons. With it piled up on top, it would be 3.5 to 4, which is what we're aiming for. We're aiming for 4 tablespoons of this and 4 tablespoons of that in each of the pots. We still have about a 1/2 inch of nutrients in each of these pots. So I will be ordering some more power bloom so we can do that process again in the middle of flower. I do have one more tub of this, which will get us through the rest of the grow. So we just need one more of these to finish off the grow. So not too bad. This Gaia Green Organics is kind of expensive in Thailand, but other parts of the world like Canada, much more affordable. So I highly recommend using this stuff if you're trying to do this style of growing outdoors. We will be probably expanding on this style of growing in the future at a different facility, depending on how the flower turns out from here. If we can get good results from this space, then we will expand to another space and see what we can do over there. Okay, want to give you guys an update on harvest day. So here's the 6-light Flex Star room. Did very well in here for how we started off, and obviously this first harvest in this building, if you've been following along. I have gone ahead and cut out 2 of the plants, one right here and one over there. This is the Devil's Cherries row. We're gonna re-veg these 2 plants. They're sitting outside. They'll be in some shade for a few days, or pretty much the entire time. They get a couple hours of sun, and then they'll do the re-vegging process outdoors. Because I don't want to lose that strain, and I'm not sure if the person that provided me with that will be able to give me another clone, so we're gonna start the re-veg process anyways on that one. The other couple strains that I think I'll be able to get is Lemon Berry Candy OG. Super happy with this one, both in yield, trichome development, and smell. And then the third one is Orange Kush Cake right here. Love the color on this, the trichome development, the smell is unreal. So super happy to see this one. We'll be growing a lot more of this strain, the Devil's Cherries and Lemon Berry Candy OG in the future. So what we're gonna do in here, just like I've done in the past with my drying technique, since I don't have a dedicated dry room, and to save both time and energy, since I do have a busy schedule, is I just cut off the plants right here, remove the growing bag, the growing medium, the cocoa, That way it reduces a lot of the humidity load inside the room with the cocoa being gone. And as you can see, they don't drop down since we have 3 layers of trellis netting holding the plants up. We still have all the great airflow above the canopy from there, along with the air circulation below the canopy, and we'll keep our fan and filters on all over the place. Just turn off the lights, and then we'll set the humidity at 55% humidity and 65 degrees Fahrenheit for the first 3 to 4 days, and then we'll raise the humidity closer up to 60 for the remaining time in the drying process. Really, when we want to get down to around 62 degrees Fahrenheit to 65, I like it in that range. Most people do 60, but for me, I like 62 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit, and then the humidity around 55 to start, and then we raise it up to 58, and then closer to 60 when we're done the drying process at around day 14. So hope you guys like this grow. I'll pick back up after we get all the growing medium cut and removed out of the grow room.
Okay, so just finished up removing all the growing medium. So as you can see, all the cocoa bags are gone on all the rows. This way of growing is definitely controversial or debatable of what people like and what people don't like. For me, working alone, making videos, doing multiple grow tents, different grow rooms like this one, and then also a commercial facility with over 130 lights at this point, going up to 300 soon, running a cafe / dispensary, many different things that all need to be accomplished. So this is one of the ways that I dry my flower to save a bit of time and energy, with the downside very minimal. If you haven't tried it like this, then you can't really say if it's good or bad, but from my experience, the trade-off is worth it for what I have going on. So as you can see, with the 3 layers of trellis netting, it keeps all the plants standing straight up. Nothing's touching in between, so you have no chances of getting bud rot or mold while the drying processing is going on. We have all the fans on low speed, both the ceiling fans, these clip fans on the top, and the fans below, along with this fan, all on the low setting, so it creates a nice air movement in the room with no chances of terpene loss from evaporation. If you have fans directly on the plants during the drying process, you do have a chance of losing some terpene profiles, since they do evaporate with high winds when you're drying the plants a bit too fast. So keep the temperatures low, humidity at the proper range, and you won't have any issues with your plants drying out too fast, creating that hay or farm smell that some people get during the drying process. I feel like the drying process and the curing process is 80% of the grow. You can have a great grow, but if you screw up the drying and curing process, your top grade bud can turn into garbage very quickly if the process is not done correctly. So as you can see, we have both airspace between the walls and the tables on both sides, down the middle, under and above. So we're gonna let this go for about 10 to 14 days. I like to go longer if possible. 14 is the ideal range, I think, to hit your proper drying time and not risk any quality of the cannabis. So it has been a few weeks since uploading video, so I'm gonna end this one right here. I have been taking clips over the past 3 weeks to make this video. Hopefully in the next round of plants, I'll get back to it, or from this week going forward, back to weekly videos. So until next time, guys, happy growing everyone, and remember to get out there and make it happen.